to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your host, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey, great afternoon and welcome to a wonderful session of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. And I'm your host, Annette Harris. Thank you so much for joining us on today, for watching and or listening. Of course, before I get started, Lord, we thank you for all things. We thank you for this beautiful day that you've blessed us to see. We thank you for the bright sunshine and who you are and how you are in our lives. And we pray that you would get the glory out of today's session. In the name of Jesus, we pray. And our opening scripture is the first part of Hosea 4:6, and it states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And again, we're excited to be here. Yay, it's another Wednesday. It's another time for you to come on in and get caught in the net. I am excited because I have a beautiful guest here with me on this afternoon. But before I introduce her to you, what I want to do is to let you know there are 3 different ways that you can listen to us on this afternoon. Of course, I have my live feed going on my page, Annette Known as Annette. And then also we're on YouTube. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're trying to build that up. MBS WANET, Get Caught in Annette. You will see us there live as well. And there we are, of course, broadcasting from the wonderful Intellectual Radio. We are here in the house and we are excited because they have allowed us to come again another week. Intellectualradio.com. You can hear our session there live as well. So I am going to pull up let's see, I had a bio here. My beautiful guest. Isn't she gorgeous, guys? Look to my immediate right. Well, she's the only other one at the table with me, but Dr. Karen McGee is in the house. How are you doing on this afternoon?
Fantastic. How are you?
Good. But I want you to get in the microphone.
Okay.
My producer's looking at us like, okay, I can't hear her. Make that mic your friend.
All right.
All right. As we're getting her set up,
Right.
I am excited that she's here. I have from the time that I've even known that there was a Dr. Karen McGee, I said, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful to me.
Oh, thank you.
I've always called you that.
Oh.
Always.
Bless your heart.
And many of you know, this is the wife of Elder Kevin McGee. And she has her own name, but I'm just doing a little association here. He has a show here on Saturdays entitled Connections at 12 noon. And we appreciate Elder McGee because he supplies Mind, Body, and Soul weekly when he can with the spoken word for our topic. So we don't take that for granted. We appreciate him. He's always aggravating us like a little brother, would and should, but that's okay. We still,
we're gonna pray for him.
Yeah, definitely. Let me read this wonderful bio that I have here. Dr. Karen McGee is the first lady of Victory Temple Ministries Church of God in Christ in Broadview, Illinois. She is the founder of I Am. It's About Me. Oh, I like that. Ministries, which ministers to preteen, teen, and adult women, helping them to recognize who God has created them to be. From this ministry was birthed the Power Word, a daily publication sent all over the world through email and social media outlets as a means of uplifting, motivating, and empowering those who read it. From these publications, Dr. McGee has compiled 4 books, which are available upon request. Internationally, I have big stuff here, right here. Okay, this is big time right here. Dr. McGee served as the Dean of Education and the Oratorical Coordinator for Scholastic Motivation Ministries, Church of God in Christ. Now, I had to pronounce that correctly because it says Oratorical, okay? I couldn't. Inside, she knows what I'm talking about. And currently, Dr. McGee is an independent beauty consultant with Mary Kay Cosmetics and an herbal specialist with Nature's Sunshine. And lastly, here I have Dr. McGee. Dr. McGee. I'm going to change her name. Don't you say anything, Elder McGee. Has been married to her husband, Pastor Kevin McGee, for 29 years. Is that accurate? And they have 3 children, Justin, Jared, and Jaleesa. And we also are going to let you know this book that we're going to highlight on today is available. Oh my goodness. I think it has. Oh, is this your website? The church's website? Victory
Uh,
Temple 7. Is that right?
yes, that'll link you to the book.
That'll link you to the book. Okay. Again, welcome to Mind, Body, and Soul. This is our first time. Dr.
Thank you,
Karen
thank
L.
you.
McGee. I'm so excited that you are here and that you've consented to come to be with us
Oh,
on
I
this
was so
afternoon.
honored. I was like, oh, bless her little heart. I love you.
Definitely. Oh, I love you too. I do. I really do. You're such a sweetheart. And she is the author, as you heard me read, of this wonderful compilation. It's entitled Power Words. Power Words. And this is actually the fourth volume. It says here, the one that I have in my possession. It's the fourth volume, a powerful compilation of words designed to motivate and encourage you to maximize your potential. And we're just going to kind of power into this because this is. I put up a post and I was asking individuals, what is your power word? Because sometimes we have to grab hold of
Yes.
something to kind of help us to maneuver through life's journey or whatever situation we're dealing with at hand. And power words, that's a wonderful concept. Wonderful concept. So I'm going to ask you first off, we come about with power words itself.
Well, it's an extension of the I Am Ministries, which was birthed many years ago. My mom owned and operated a private Christian school. And this particular day, I had the task of, I don't know if it was the cheerleading group, but I was driving somebody to a basketball game, a group of middle school girls. So you can imagine the conversations going on. So I pretty much tuned them out. But the Lord allowed me to hear one young lady say, I don't know what the conversation was prior to this, but she said, well, I'm never happy. I don't smile. And she said, my little sister is always happy, but I don't know why I'm never happy. And that pierced my soul. I said, oh my God, she couldn't have been more than 10 or 11. Like, what is going on in your life that you are never happy? And that bothered me. So through the game, I'm just like, God, what do we do with this girl? And he just began to pour into me. You'll form a ministry that will cater. At first I thought it was only to teen girls, and you will teach them to love themselves, and that way they'll know how to receive love from others. And I thought, so what do I call this? And that night, I think I was sitting in church, and I'm like, okay, God, what are we going to call this? What are we going to do? And he said, I am. It's all about me. I was like, oh, okay, because they have to know themselves first before they can, be a part of a larger relationship. I said, okay, I got it. And so a couple years later, we had done a workshop, a one-day workshop, and I thought that was the way to go always. And I was kind of troubled in my spirit because after the first one, I just could not put another one together. And at the beginning, I had a girlfriend, Pat, who was battling breast cancer. She had surgery, and I thought to myself, now she has girls, and it's going to be school time. I said, okay, God, well, who's doing the hair? What, So I called her. We went over, and as he was ministering to her, I was, doing the hair, and the Lord just began to pour into me. So you will do a daily publication, power words, and to motivate people. And I thought, okay, well, how do I do that? And it just went on. You'll send it through email. And at that time, I had an email address, didn't really know how I was going to send this to people. I'm like, okay. And, it'll just be a quick message. So I got in the car and I was asking my husband, just kind of filling them out because I don't know about this email thing. I'm like, honey, how do I do this? Can I send emails to people? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay, how? He's probably thinking, girl, please. But he's my computer go-to guy. So I'm like, figure it out. Right. And I said, I think the Lord wants me to do a daily email. He's like, yeah, you can do that. And I was like, okay. So you're going to have to help me. And so we did immediately. I went and the first thing I did was to send a letter out to people explaining what I was going to do to see if they wanted to be a part of the daily publication. And many said yes. And we just began. I was like, okay, God, so now what? And he just laid the format out. It starts out with a header. This header I have everything. What is it? Everything God has planned for you is already blessed. I've had that one the longest. And just a quick word, and we've modified it, through the years, but it's designed for people to be able to, pick it up, read it. I've noticed that people were reading it while they were at work. And so weekends, not many. So we kind of tailored it down. We try to do it Monday through Friday. And it's just something quick they can see. It's not a long message. They don't have time for all that. And just a few lines to get them going.
I love it. I love how it even started.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, these were your going back to the original story. These were your daughter's friends, or
these were students at the school.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. I didn't know if it was like you said, you were tuning them out. But yeah, that would be something that would grab my attention as well. Of her saying she's never happy. And then she related to her sister who's always happy. So there's something must be missing somewhere with her that she didn't grasp. And a lot of times we will hear, stuff like that, maybe with the young people or adults. We'll hear it, but a lot of times we won't act on it. So I applaud you for that. And I praise God that you took the initiative and listened to what he was telling you to do, because that's so important. Our babies sometimes are lost.
Yes.
Yes. And like I said, 10 or 11 years old, why would you not be happy?
Right. So that did allow me, I do have a social work background. So I was also the counselor at the school.
Yes.
So that did allow me an opportunity to counsel her and then begin to counsel others. But then the Lord just showed me that it was so much bigger than just that group, that age group. And I was so, I mentioned I was so concerned about getting this workshop done. I was just troubled that I couldn't get that off. And so as the Lord was ministering to me, he said, you'll reach more people this way than you can do on a one-day workshop. I said, oh, okay. Yeah.
And I can see it. And that's the way of the world now.
Yes.
The social media.
Yes.
That's the easiest way to get things out, the fastest way, if you will. Wonderful. Well, I thank you for listening to the Lord. I do. That's beautiful. Okay, so we have power words here. And so it came, as a result of that. But when you sat down to pen this first, because this is the 4th volume, this first compilation, so you say you have a header. Is that the everything God has planned?
Yes.
So what were the other headers, if I can ask that, of the previous volumes?
Today was yesterday is the past. Today is the present. No, tomorrow's the present. Today is a gift.
Okay.
I
know I'm giving you a quiz. I'm sorry.
I can't remember the others because this one has been, because usually I would change it like every year.
Okay.
But this one has probably been, this is probably the 3rd one. So it has lasted because that was another powerful message God gave me. Everything that he has planned for us is already blessed. It's already done. It's already, ready to just manifest.
Definitely.
Okay. So I thought we'll stick with that one.
I like that. And it's something a lot of times I tell people, I said, we always live beneath our privileges.
We do.
We don't really realize all that he has for us.
We do.
The blessings, the plans,
We do.
And we really need to take advantage of it. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not ignoring you on here. So let me do a little quick romper room shout out. I see Demetria Brand Triplet is on. Elder Kevin McGee is telling us on what up. Buddy is on. He said, oh boy. 2 of my sisters on the mic today. Yes, that's right, big brother. We are here today. Let's see. I don't know what to do with your husband.
I know.
I only married the best looking. How about this is the only one you're going to marry?
Let's see.
Let me stop.
It's no telling what he's going to say. So we just have to really be careful.
Ignore him. We won't,
all the time.
Okay. All right. There we go.
All the time. Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Beatrice is on, and Brandy, thanks for watching. Maria, how are you?
Hey, Maria.
We appreciate you. Pastor Tyrone Gaston is on. We appreciate you. Michelle Thomas and Minister Randy Glass from R.D. Hinton Ministries. We appreciate you for watching on today. So we're going to talk about power words. If you guys are listening, hey, Janice John, go ahead and, maybe throw in your power word.
That's it.
What is your power word? Do you have a particular power word that helps you, motivates you, it helps you to think right, or to give the right responses, or what have you? Throw your power words if you want, in the comment section. And we can kind of talk about those as well. But we want to kind of jump into this for the volume here. And the very first power word that I see here is addictions. And I actually love how you kind of get into detail about addiction because your very first question was, "What do you think when you hear the word
Comes to
addiction?"
mind, yeah.
So let's talk about addiction. Why did you? First of all, why did you even think that this was probably the first one that you should start off with, or did it?
You know what?
Was
To
it
make
random?
life easy, the books are in alphabetical order.
Okay.
So addiction just happened to be the first one in this edition, but they're just kind of just random. I hear the Lord will speak a word, or I'll hear someone talking. I'm like, that's a power word. My husband is real good for giving me power words, because I won't say he's always talking. No, but
You know that
no.
to be true.
But a lot of the messages he'll preach, I'm thinking, I can use that. Something in there will stand out. And just in conversation, sometimes something will kind of stand out. I'm like,
Okay.
And it was interesting. You were asking, saying, what is your power word? When I did after I did the first edition, someone asked me, so do you take suggestions from other people? And I was like, sure. So I believe with the second edition, we started the inspired buys. So when you see that something they did, something they said, or for a while I did ask for suggestions, give me words you would like to see appear in a power word. So when you see inspired by, that person has done something or said something, and sometimes they don't even know until they see their name, like, oh.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, you're always thinking. You probably have a
Always.
pen and pad or something
I
with
do.
you all the time.
I do, because I found that in my latter years. Like, Lord, what was that? What did you
And she's
say?
getting younger.
Like, yes, like, Lord, if you just give it back to me, I promise I won't forget.
Oh my God, how many of us have been there? You see, I have my notes all
Oh,
here.
yes, I have them everywhere. So when I see a single word just written somewhere, like, oh, yeah, okay.
Right, definitely. Oh my God, that is something. I'm laughing because that's how I am.
Yes, we've got notes everywhere.
Everywhere. You have to. I'm a mentor of mine used to always tell me, well, when the Lord is speaking, she also encouraged me to keep a notepad and a pen next to my bed.
Yes.
And of course, now we got the electronics or whatever. I can just pop up and just type it in real quick or something like that. But it's always good to have.
Yes.
So your mind is always going. That's where I went with that. But that's a good thing. Calvin Blissa says, "Hey, First Lady.
Hey,
Thanks for watching. We appreciate you." Addictions. So I'm going to ask you guys here that are on the Facebook Live and also on YouTube, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the word addiction? When you hear the word addiction, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? And I want Dr. McGee to tell us or to talk to us about addiction. So you can go ahead and type that in if you would not mind. And I want her to talk to us about addictions. And maybe we can just kind of do some random, some of the random words. But I also want to make sure that they know where to purchase your book as well before we end on today. So addiction.
Well, with all the power words, I start out with the natural and try to bring it into the spiritual. So, it starts out, most times negative. Addiction is a negative connotation. So I like to wrap it up. I always like to wrap it up with a positive or something that's going to make you think or, just change maybe a little something you might be doing. So the last line says addictions aren't all bad if you're addicted to the right thing. So the point there was, are you as addicted to God as you are to other things? And, drugs and alcohol, gambling, the big addictions. But what about, addicted to TV or addicted to, I put in here shoes, but that's not a bad thing. Nothing is wrong with that one.
Wait. I must interject here. I just had a conversation before the show started about shoes. Okay.
Me too.
Did you really?
Yes.
And I told somebody, I said, it's not an addiction. It's an appreciation for shoes. That's it.
Yes. I was telling my husband, like, you know what? I need some more shoes.
There you go.
I just need some
It's
more.
appreciation.
It's not an addiction. It's a necessity.
There you go.
There you go.
I know many probably would not agree with us, but that's our story and we're sticking to it.
That's it. That's it. Let's
it.
ask them how many pair of shoes they have.
Exactly.
See, now.
Yeah. I can't even count the numbers.
Okay.
Pastor Christine Hunt, I see you on. Okay, they're throwing in comments.
Okay.
Michelle says drugs. Brandy says addiction to food.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Brandy also says, Michelle also says drama. Deidre says addiction to social media.
Ooh.
And I think probably
Yeah.
many of us would fall under that category.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I started off saying that's like the way of the world
Mhm.
now. I mean,
It
that's
is.
how people communicate,
Really.
whether it's Twitter or
Instagram,
Facebook. I think the young people said that the older people took over Facebook.
Yeah, so they are what? It's Snapchat
and
like,
other, I
yeah,
don't even know
they
the
lost
names
me a
of.
long time ago. Like, ooh.
Brady says addiction to drama and attention.
Yes. Oh my.
Yeah. People.
Yeah.
And Elder Kevin McGee had to say shoe addictions. But we're gonna disregard that. He is very special. I pray for you daily.
Would you please?
But did you hear what she was saying about addiction? If we can, a lot of times we will automatically think, and a lot of us do think of it in a negative sense or negative light, because that's what we see.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's on TV or in social media. I will say this, before I even got on Facebook, I was a little hesitant because of all the negative stuff that I would either hear about or, someone would tell me about. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to deal with that.
Right.
I actually had my Facebook page for a whole year before I did anything with it. Well, someone encouraged me to get it. And the only reason why I started doing anything with it was for my show.
Same here. I started out with Facebook, and I thought, as a matter of fact, I started out putting posting the Power Words on Facebook, and I thought, I don't want to be doing this. This is not what me.
Right.
And years later, the Lord brought that back to me.
Okay.
Said, go back.
Right.
To Facebook.
Right.
You will reach more people.
Definitely.
If you say so.
Okay. Right. Yeah. And so I had to realize that I could use it for positive.
Right.
And not negative. Everybody else who does use it for negative, of course, I can kind of like.
Right. We can skim through
disregard it, or just not follow them, or not friend them, or something. But I love your concept of being addicted to the right thing, being addicted to Christ, His Word, because what? Why do you say that? Because what? I can give my own reasons, but I want to hear yours.
If we're not addicted to God and His Word, then we have an addiction to something, everybody. So if you're not addicted to God, then you don't have a filter for what you should not be addicted to.
I like that.
Yes, you need something to, to tell you, well, that might not be the best thing. And nope, you don't need that one. So yeah, we can be addicted to God. And I asked here, it says someone with a shoe addiction might not be looked upon the same as one with a drug addiction. However, they are both showing a lack of self-control, with the exception of shoe addiction. Now you look back like, oh,
shoe appreciation.
Right. No, so now, but then it says, do we have the same feeling of addiction towards God and His Word? Are we controlling ourselves when this might be the time to welcome an addiction? Are we, using, okay, well, I can't read the Word yet right now, or I have a certain time to read, which is good. But what happens if you can't read at that time? Do you just disregard? Or do you pick it up somewhere else? Like you with this addiction, if you couldn't watch your show at 10 o'clock, did you record it? And when did you go back and watch? What did you do to make sure that you fed that part of your addiction? Well, we need the same thing when it comes to God and His Word.
I love it.
So,
I would almost say, Dr. Karen, you said it was in alpha order, these words. This is almost prophetic that you started off with addictions. Because you just said, unless we are addicted to God, I mean, that's when everything else will fall into place.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's befitting that you started off with this particular one. I love it. I love it. Okay, this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to actually take a quick break and have my producer play a little bit of music. You guys don't go anywhere. We are going to talk a little bit more with Dr. McGee, and I'm actually going to bring in a co-host with me. I think she has some information that she kind of wants to share with us today, talking with our guest. So you listen to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. Don't go anywhere. We're right here on Intellectual Radio.
Great things happen. Great things happen when shepherds worship. When shepherds worship. Miracles Miracles happen. When shepherds pray, you need to know great things happen. When shepherds worship, and victory happens. When our hands are raised. When our hands are raised. We are the men of God, and worship is what we do. We love to praise. We must go to that place before we can leave you. So let us worship Him in spirit, worship Him in truth. For all that He's already done and everything He will do, because great things happens when shepherds worship. And miracles happen when shepherds praise. Everybody needs to know great things happen when shepherds worship. Victory happens when our hands are raised.
Nehemiah 8:6 says that Ezra praised the Lord, the great God, and all the people shouted, Amen, as they lifted their hands.
All right, welcome back. Hey. You're listening to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. We are here on Intellectual Radio. And I see you guys here on Facebook Live. I appreciate you for joining us on today. We're also on YouTube. MBSWANET, Get Caught in the Net, and the station's website, intellectualradio.com. As I told you guys that we were going to have a guest to come in, and actually going to have both of you move towards me so that we can make sure you're both in the live feed shot. Bring your mics with you.
Yep.
All right. Dr. McGee is here in the house, and she has been talking to us about her wonderful book, Power Words. And you guys have been so beautifully just giving your comments on today about what your power word is. And I am introducing to you, I think they can see you now. All right.
I need to get closer.
I've been talking about Adele. Adele DeBose is in the house. And
Hi.
she is a producer, radio show host. I'm going to let her talk about herself in a little bit, but she's going to kind of co-host the rest of this session. We'll say episode, call the other show episode. Okay. The rest of this session with me on this afternoon. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of
Nice
course.
to meet you.
Thanks for coming on in. All the way from Maryland, from the Maryland area, DC area. She is here on this afternoon. So we're talking about power words. Adele, do you have any power words that you that help you maneuver you through anything, or something
if I would say the main thing for me is discipline. For myself, for my child, for my relationship, for my life. Just you have to stay disciplined. If you want to attain any goals, anything, you can't let distraction. You can only use discipline, and that's something that I focus on every day.
I like that.
Yes.
Is discipline in here?
I
don't think it's in
right?
this one, but it is.
You can have that one.
It's in one. There's another inspired by. There you go.
Right. Let's see. I can pull up if I have one ever somewhere, but
okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What do you think about that, Dr. McGee?
Oh, awesome! Because it's so true. If you don't have discipline, you'll get nothing accomplished.
Exactly.
Because you will allow distractions to come. You're all over the place. Well, discipline is a must have.
I truly feel like the only way we're able to accomplish anything is with discipline. If you let anything interfere with your path that you're on and you aren't, simple things. Like if I want to, be on this diet, I have to be disciplined. I have to know that chocolate cake today is just not for me. I have to, know when to kind of hold them and when to fold them, right? I say that because we had chocolate cake yesterday. I didn't, but I had to be disciplined and just watch my daughter eat it and I not have any cake.
Okay.
That was very tough.
We're growing up to that point.
Right. But I really feel
powerful word because it goes hand in hand with focus.
Right.
That's the only way we're able to attain our goals, and to just kind of grow. You have to stay disciplined. If you look back at your biggest accomplishments, what got you there? What was the formula for that? And discipline is the biggest part of it.
Okay. I like that. I agree. Elder McGee says discipline has been a power word in one of the other books. Okay. All right, great. Let's see it. There was some more that I missed before I took my break. I didn't read on here. Buddy Gill says, I am addicted to positivity.
Yes, I like that.
The absence of it can be draining.
Very.
I wish, I love that, Buddy. Thank you. I wish more of us would take that in.
Yeah.
Because it's as if, anything, the least little thing, we're always finding the quickest negative thing to say about it.
It's easier. Sometimes when, you're feeling challenged, you really gotta, be positive until it feels natural. Right. You have to push yourself. Like how you have those affirmations. You have to tell yourself until it's real. And sometimes for people, it's just easier to just be negative because it takes sometimes less effort, less energy.
And that's why we have the daily declaration that stays every day. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am the righteousness of God. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. And my favorite line anywhere, I am a conqueror.
Yes.
Love it. And
I pray that people read that every day and take that in so that they have that positive outlook no matter what's going on. They can kind of push past that to recognize, above all else, I am a conqueror.
I am a conqueror. Yeah, definitely. I put up a post the other day after I did the Swallow Cliff stairs. I don't know if anybody knows about those stairs. Those stairs can take you out if you're not ready.
I was a little concerned for you the first time you posted. I was like, what is that? What are you doing? Why are you out there?
Right. I mean, it's great exercise. And it's almost, my mind, I'm like, I can do this. I can do this, And as I'm going up those stairs and I kind of get to the middle part and I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta take a break. And then I go with the rest of it. But I'm still telling myself I can do it. I can motivate myself to finish this. I can do this. So yesterday I took a picture of it and I said, this is the face of a conqueror.
That's it. That is it.
Yesterday I did 5 times around. 5 times.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
So next time 10?
Well, I'm trying to increase it at least by 1. At least by 1.
Okay.
I don't want to kill myself or anything. Come out and your uncle have to carry me out somewhere or whatever. But I just
tell her 10 Adele.
Right. Yeah. Well, somebody said if I keep going, I'll get to 10. But I'm just gonna build it.
Yeah. But if you think about where you were at 5 versus where you started, I'm sure day 1 you were like, let me just get up here, Just that progress already. And you've been doing this for what, like 2 weeks now?
Yeah, this is the 2nd week.
Yeah, already. Watch. In another month, you're going to be breezing right on up and down there like it's nothing.
I see some of them, they're running up and down those stairs, and I'm like, okay, I'm not here to impress anybody. Yeah, exactly.
That was not their first time.
Right. Yeah. No, it's not.
But that's a sign even in itself. You don't want to fall into distraction because sometimes when you get distracted, you become harder on yourself, and you lose sight of your goal. Exactly. So, how many times have we, even myself, I've been in the gym, trying to get where I'm trying to go. And you see that one person just kind of doing the greatest and you're just over there like, and it makes you feel, a little discouraged in yourself. So it's important to focus, and make sure that you're focused on your goals, because you don't know what their goal is. You don't know where they've come from. You don't know how they may be feeling. You don't know, or you might be motivating others. So it's important to just kind of make sure your scope is your scope, and you don't get distracted by the other people breezing past you, because you don't know how long they've been out here. You don't know their journey.
Right, definitely. Dr. McGee, can you quickly share with Adele the origination of the Power Words and how you got started with your ministry?
As I was saying, my mom owned and operated a private Christian school, and one particular day I was driving a group of girls to a basketball game and just overheard one just say she was never happy. She was, never happy. She never smiled. She didn't really see a reason to, and that just pierced my heart. And the Lord just began to minister to me about the whole I Am Ministries. And from that ministry, the Power Words were formed as the way he puts it, as a way to reach more to inspire them and motivate them to be their best self and to love themselves, and just kind of learn how to be a part of a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
So and so many things have come through the ministry, but this I think has reached more people, has reached the most people. One thing that really inspired me, one day I was talking to a young lady. We were at one of the conventions, and she said, I knew she had gone maybe to London for her job, and she was back. We were happy to see her. She said, Dr. McGee, I want to tell you, I left, and my husband and I made the decision for he and my son to stay here to keep him rooted and in school and everything. And so I was over there by myself, and I was so lonesome. Said, but when I would feel the lowest, I would turn on the computer and your power word would pop up.
Wow.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So that let me know that it had reached other lands like God said it would.
Right.
And so then people began to forward it to their friends, and somebody was in Germany. And so I was like, oh my God, this really has done what you said it would do, God. So.
And then that's the one you heard about. There are probably many more that you haven't heard about that it has reached and helped and inspired.
I said, wow.
I love it.
Oh,
I love it.
That's
Did you want to say anything to her back history?
I'm speechless. That's inspiring. I'm just in awe. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was telling her I appreciate how she acted upon what she heard the young lady say, because so many times our young people are dealing with so much. Sometimes they deal with it within, they don't really verbalize it.
Right.
And the fact that you caught it in your ear, she wasn't talking to you.
Yeah.
Right.
But you caught it.
I think she was even on the last seat on a 15-passenger van, and the van was crowded, and I could hear their little chatter.
Yeah.
But that just like boom,
so clear.
Woo, I was
yeah.
Like, oh,
wow.
And even with that, just ministering to other women, and that's when God allowed me to know that the I Am Ministries is much larger than I thought. And people began to call my husband and myself to come and counsel them. And there was an older lady, and we were talking to her, about some things going on in her family, and we had the family together. And as we were leaving, she made a comment to this grown daughter, and the daughter's like, I can take care of myself. The gist of it was, I think the mom wanted the girl to grab a jacket. She thought it was chilly. And our whole premise was, you've got to allow everybody to take care of themselves because it's driving you nuts. Just leave them, And so I said, she can grab a jacket if she needs one. And right then the Lord spoke. He said, it's bigger than you think. I was like, oh, because then I realized so many hurting people, so many. And at the time, at the inception of I was looking at young ladies, 19, 20s, young adults in these relationships that were horrible. Like, you have no business with this person. And that's when he began to let me see they've got to love themselves first. They have got to know about them, who they are. So they're not trying to live and create this person that they think they should be. Yeah. And they're in these harmful, toxic relationships. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, this shit really is bigger than I think.
Yeah. It is.
Because it's just a lot. It's painful to see. And that, when they don't have the self-confidence, when they don't have the assurance of who they are and what they can do, they will get in relationships that are just not good. Yeah. Not good. And they will lose themselves. And that was the whole thing. They lose themselves. So they've even created another person that they are not, they're not that person. Yeah. So when do you get to be who you are? So I am is going to teach them who they are. Beautiful. It's about me.
It's about me. Love it. I love it. We're going to have you back on so you can talk about that, the ministry itself.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. And I feel like you have so many more stories coming your way. Because just the power of words is so much bigger. Like you've been saying, so much bigger than me. And you just think, while you're talking, I'm thinking about my own story and the things that I went through as a young lady. And even now, and that self-love, sometimes, we can be so hard on ourselves for, different reasons, or just kind of accepting who will accept us. And that's not always the best thing. But without that self-confidence and something as inspiring as this, you can easily kind of fall and become susceptible to those negative things. Very easy. I can appreciate everything you've been saying.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you. And I was talking about, I see so many men watching, but it did my mind, and I think when Lord first brought it to me, it was for women and young girls. But through the power words, I've heard men say, "Oh my God, Dr. McGee, can I be a part of that? Can I be on your email list? This is so inspiring." And I've heard ministers say, "Dr. McGee, in a crunch, I need a message. I whip out that book.
Okay.
And I choose one of those words and I go for it.
Expound on
point at it. Yes. Be led.
Okay. So men have jumped on board, and I pray that they are, being blessed as the women are. But again, every so often, God would tell me it's bigger than you think.
Yeah.
Bigger.
Okay.
Oh, I love this. I'm about helping people. I really am. And I'm about looking into background or, what got them to the point that they are, because there's something had to have happened. For the young lady, I keep referring back to the young lady, the 10-year-old, 11-year-old, to say that she wasn't happy. There's something that either happened or did not happen for her to feel that way.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm always about, trying to figure out what that is so I can help. So I appreciate your contribution.
For sure. Because the accountability, I feel like, is on us. You made me really think about, I have this little cousin. She's like a preteen. She's like 12. And you just made me think about it because she was just having a rough day. I don't know what was going on, but she had a rough day. She was disrespectful to her mom, which was very unusual. So, her mom was just tired. And I was like, I'm like, nah, we need to talk to her and see what's going on.
It's not the norm.
And so I was like, just let her come over to my house for the weekend. No pressure, And just while she was over there, I kind of let her, vibe out, relax, do her own thing. And then I said to her, I was like, what's going on with you? And I was just like, I don't know, because I just feel like she's kind of going through the changes and doesn't really know how to express herself. And, I said to her, I said, well, whatever you need, I'm here for you. And she just started crying. And, I told her, I said, I understand sometimes as you become like a teenager, you're like, your mom's not cool anymore or whatever, you may be feeling, but don't ever feel like you have to shut out, the world and everything like that. And it just kind of turned out that amongst her friends, she felt like she wasn't pretty. And, she felt, And so, that was devastating for her. And I was like, you're beautiful, but I know for me, it might not mean as much, coming from me.
Those peers.
And then I asked her, I said, do you ever do affirmations? And she's like, well, what is that? And I brought my daughter, she's 5 years old. She does her affirmations. Awesome. I said, Athena, do your affirmations. Athena said in front of her, I am special, I am beautiful, I am confident, I am kind. I am smart, I am strong, I am honest. And she started laughing at her for a second, and then she just started crying. And I felt like kind of similar to your moment, I was able to get through, and it dawned on me, like I have to make myself also available because, every space for her isn't a, but if she, after that, we talked for hours about everything she was going through. She left feeling a lot better. Awesome. We still communicate now, but, sometimes we can be as adults so focused on our own lives and especially me, a working mom, like, I got to get this household together. I got to get we still have to pay attention, It taught me a lesson even talking to my 5-year-old. How are you feeling? Let me check in with you, you know? So I appreciate, what you're doing because it just reminds us as adults, as human beings, and just the support for other women and young women and children, like it's on us.
Right.
The accountability is on us.
It is. And I was listening to you and that needing to know the why. And that's that social work background in me. I've got to know we're analytical people. I have to know, let's go from the beginning. And I was sharing with my son, who is a psychology major.
Oh, okay.
And I was telling him about my job, my internship as a juvenile probation officer. I said, in our job, when we received a child, as a case, our job was to go do, I don't know if it was called a pre-sentence investigation, but we had to go meet the mom, whether it was, if the dad was anywhere in the world and you could contact him. If he was not there in the house, we needed him. We interviewed everybody. And it started from when the parents met, when the child was conceived, the pregnancy, the birth. Was it normal? Was there anything that went wrong? All trying to establish what brought this child to this point, that they are involved in a criminal case at 12 and 13 and 10.
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
Right.
And so through all a million questions and visiting everybody associated with that child, school teachers, if they were part of an after school program, if they were old enough to work, everybody who had any kind of interest in that child's life, we had to interview them to establish what made this child decide that, okay, I want to go rob a pizza man. What were you doing?
Yeah.
And so, so with me, it's always, I need the background. I need to understand why we are here. What happened?
Right.
I agree.
And I mean, we should all look at life like that, basically, in general, because their actions is a result of something.
Something went wrong.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let me hop over here to Facebook Live because I know that there were some comments. Brandy actually put up a definition. She said addiction is a psychological and physical inability to stop consuming a chemical, drug, activity, or substance, even though it is causing psychological and physical harm. Never associated a dependence on God in the harmful sense that the word addiction implies. Okay. So we turn the thing around. This is why she has the power words. Being addicted to God, that's an awesome concept. Okay, let's see here. Elder McGee says pastors have used the power words to formulate their sermons. Okay. Beverly Rutledge is on. Thanks for watching. Let's see. Pastor Ricky Rildo, we appreciate you for watching. Yes. Buddy Gill also says determination is a great power word.
I'm pretty sure
I like that.
Determination.
She's going to get a lot in if she hasn't had them in her books before. Right. Do you duplicate a lot?
Well, no. My mind just went to, you'll see in some power words, the word in parentheses, repost.
Okay.
That means it has been a word before. Yeah. And for whatever reason, it has come back to me. And pretty much sometimes I'll get the word and sometimes I'm angry at myself because I go through writing it. And when I put it in, like it pops up, I'm like, man, it was already there. But it's kind of funny because, most of the time it's pretty much the same concept. I use some of the same scriptures. So it's really, it's really cute. But then sometimes I get another whole meaning of it. I'm like, okay.
Right.
But when you see repost, that means it has been produced before. Okay. But for some reason, God thought we needed to bring that back up. So
wow. This is deep. Can you tell everybody where they can find your book?
Yes,
so they can purchase it. Elder McGee, if you're on, you're rambling. Can you type in?
Help, babe, help.
Can you type in the website for us so that they can be able to purchase her book? And then are they able to sign up for email and all of that? This whatever link he's going to give, they can do it through that, or
I can give them my email address. I can give my email address, or they can friend me on Facebook. Yes.
Okay.
My Facebook name, CarynL McGee, McGee. It's Karen McGee.
Okay.
And then email address, C as in Karen. Karen does start with a C. C as in Karen, D as in dog, O as in October, C as in Karen, G as in green, E as in Edward, E as in Edward @yahoo.com. And just send me a little message saying I would love to be a part of your daily emails.
Okay. I'm typing in your email as you're talking so that they will also have that.
CDocGee is really what it is.
CDocGee. All right. I like that. All right. So you guys send her an email if you're interested.
Or they can put their email address here. I'll go back and look at the feed.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. If you guys are interested, you can throw your email in the live feed and she can send you out if you're interested in receiving the compilations via email. I'm telling you, there's some words in here. I'm like, oh, really? I can use these as power words. I see fire extinguisher. Oh my God. I see fructify. Who uses fructify? And she starts it off by saying is a word that probably not used by many. But it says it's a combination of fruitful and productive. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Fructify. See, you are gonna go get this book, right? Because you're gonna be like, what other words are in here? Oh my God,
this have some Latin words.
Yes,
it's in there. You name it, just whatever it drops in my ears. Like especially if it's one most people aren't familiar with.
Okay,
like let's bring this in. Let's all myself included broaden our vocabulary.
Yeah,
some words I'm like, what? Well, let me get the definition of that first because I need to know where we're going with this.
You don't want to just put anything in there.
No.
You kind of reminded me of my late brother. He used to learn a new word every day. He would get in the dictionary and just learn a word every day. And that was inspirational, but you kind of remind me of it with the power words. So this is good stuff because something like I said, some of these I probably wouldn't have thought to use them as power words, but I love how you put it in here, and she has everything. She has scriptures in here, and at the end of every power word, you will see a declaration. So. We're not going to go through all the power words because I want you all to buy her book. I want you to support her because this is actually, I love what you're doing. I love it. And I can't say it enough. And even, Adele, as you were relating your situation, how you came along, you talked about, when you were a young girl. Right. So this is who she, started off trying to reach, although it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
And it's also males and adults that could benefit from this. So this is something I truly appreciate, and I thank you so much. I see you guys. Oh, Buddy Gill says he wants the book.
All right, Bud Man.
Thank you, Elder McGee. He put the link for
Thanks, sweetie.
She'll pay you later for that. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. He says Dr. McGee is the sensible balance to my crazy personality.
Yes. Some days I can't balance him.
It's way too much.
Just like, I'm going to leave you alone today.
Let's see, Gwen, I see you watching. Thanks for watching us on today.
Is that your sis?
That is my sis.
Hey, Gwen.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you guys met. Yeah, sure did. But speaking of Elder McGee, I know he has a spoken word that he penned for today's session, for this part of the session. So I'm going to see if my producer can play that for us. I want you guys to take a listen to this. Okay. Elder Kevin McGee.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. It was that Word that changed our lives, gave us direction, understanding, that we may in turn interpret the Word using our words that the Word has given us to speak, but not only speak, but believe in and to stand on. These words can empower us, motivate us, cause us to see new perspectives. Yes, it's these words that we celebrate because they are given by the Word. And when He gave these words, He gave them in power. So embrace the power words that God has given us, that we may live by the Word.
Two snaps. If I could snap with my right hand, I would. All right. Thank you, Elder McGee. How appropriate. And your wife has, she's given you the green light. She said you did a great job.
Yes. And I keep, again, I'm not the great one with, so I keep hitting something before I finish my post. So you got the idea.
Wait, Gwen says, first Gwen says hello to both of you. And then she says, stop blushing, Dr. McGee. when the poem was being read, played, should I say. She can't help but to blush. But you guys have something powerful in that. You do spoken words and you have the power words, the ministry. I love it. You guys continue on what you're doing. You're helping so many people. You really, really are. You really are. But we are going to get her back to Mind, Body, and Soul. I teased her when she first came in because she's a very busy woman. She's very busy. I had to nail her down for this session today. But I'm so glad that you got a chance to come on today and to share with us. And you guys, please make sure you support her. Power Words. It's going to help you. It is going to help you. And maybe, I don't know, some of you may be over ministries at your church or with the young people or what have you. This is going to help you. This is the 4th volume. So the 3 other volumes before this. Okay. So Dr. Karen McGee, CARYN L McGee. Friend her on Facebook. Go to the link in the comment section on Facebook Live, and you will definitely be directed as to how you can purchase this book. Okay. So I see you guys hopping back in here. But what I want to tell you is don't go away, because I have another hour or coming up, another session, and I'm going to be talking with a couple of millennials here today, as I call them. Great, they're in from out of town, so they're here with me on today. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to end the session so we can maneuver out. All right. Thank you again, beautiful.
Thank you, gorgeous.
As I always call her, she's my beautiful friend. She is. She's my beautiful friend.
She and her sister are my sharp.
Yes, all right, we're just gonna head to a break as we transition out. Okay, guys, so don't go anywhere. This is Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette on Intellectual Radio.
What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. Let the angels bow before him. Let heaven and earth adore him. What a mighty God we serve. 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 Let the angels bow before him. Let heaven and earth adore him. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. The creator of all things, there is no other God beside thee, and we stand here and reverence your name. For you are worthy to be lifted up. Please receive our sincere worship. For you are the mighty God we serve. All the earth proclaim. What a mighty God we serve. We serve a mighty God, mighty God. We serve. Let the angels bow down. Let heaven and earth adore him, yeah. God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. The creator of all things, there is no other God beside thee, and we stand here in reverence your name. For you are worthy to be lifted up. Please receive our sincere worship. For you are the mighty God we serve. All the earth proclaim. What a mighty God we serve. We serve a mighty God. We serve. Oh, let angels bow before. Let heaven and earth adore. We serve a mighty God. We serve. We serve a mighty God. We serve. He is holy, magnificent God. There's no one beside thee. Let us declare his majesty. Magnificent God, you're worthy. Yes, you are. Let us declare that he is holy, magnificent, no one beside thee. Let us declare that he is holy,
holy. Say he's holy, holy, he's holy.
My goodness. If you get a chance, you can scroll back up because there is a link with where you can get the book. Okay. I am joined right now by two individuals who mean the world to me. They are related to me by blood and by marriage. I am sitting in the midst of, oh, they're so cute. They're commenting on here talking about you guys. Hey, newlyweds, they say.
Hi.
To my far right is my first nephew, my firstborn nephew. Okay, I'm gonna be good today. I'm not gonna like cry and all that stuff. We'll do that later. Michael Daryl DeBose is in the house. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good. How about you?
Good. I gave a whole government name, didn't it? Whole government. That's the auntie for you, right?
Yes.
And then also Adele DeBose. This is his new bride, my niece. How are you doing?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Good. I'm so glad that you guys are here. You have been on Mind, Body, and Soul via telephone before because you are in a different state. But when you guys came into town, I had to nab you, tell you guys, please come on and be on my show on today.
It's a pleasure.
Of course.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you guys so much.
This is my third time on.
Yes.
It is. It is. She was on twice before on the phone. Yes, she was Adele Coleman before. Yes, now she's Adele DeBose. She's a DeBose.
Still working on her stage name.
Oh, is that what it is?
Her media industry name.
Speaking of media industry, this is what we're going to talk about on today. Can you guys both kind of introduce yourselves and tell what you do, your occupation, and how it even relates to the media industry? Who wants to start? You gonna allow your beautiful wife to start? Or?
Yes, ladies first.
Oh my goodness!
I knew he was gonna say
right. He has to figure it out in his head right now. Yes. Hi everyone. My name is Adele DuBose. We'll say Coleman. My name is Adele. I'm Chief Content Officer with a company called DCP Entertainment. Our primary function is to network and build podcasting branding. So we've been launching new podcasts on our platforms. We try to make sure it's a diverse platform because especially in the minority community, it is very underserved, even though mostly women actually statistically listen to more podcasting. That's why we're here. A lot of them aren't streaming. So we're trying to figure out what's going on there. Currently on our platform, we have a few shows. We have one about mental health called Inner Space. We have another about politics called Democracy-ish. It's kind of play off of Blackish. I'm just kind of talking about what's going on. We have a couple more in the can that we're working on that I can't quite talk about. But as Chief Content Officer, my duty is to make sure that all the content is well produced, that we're able to go out and recruit and get interviews, that our sound production is correct, that we're networking and building just great quality content. So if something sounds terrible, that's on me. So nothing ever sounds terrible. So yeah, my background is in radio. I started off at Sirius XM Satellite Radio. I was there for 8.5, 9 years, working as executive producer for the channel, in charge of daily operations, making sure that the channel flows well. All of our shows are, hitting their spots. All the shows are booked, talent booking. Still do a bit of that now. And just kind of making sure that it's run, very well correctly. I've also done VO for a couple of channels at Sirius. So if you listen to Sirius still, I think it might be a few promos with me running on them still. But I was there for quite a while. And even beyond that, I have a BA in mass communication. So if you haven't gathered it yet, I like to talk a lot.
Mass communications, okay? I love it. Okay, and Michael?
Yes. Hello, everyone.
I gave you some time.
Yes, you did. I guess I should have been thinking about.
Should have been ready. Aren't they cute?
Say. I was a little enamored with yours. But no. Hello, everyone. I work in the TV industry, TV and global media, whatever you want to call it, basically video. I'm a videographer, producer, and video editor. So currently we both live in the Washington, D.C. area, and I'm working in the news field. I'm a freelance photojournalist for a couple of major networks, CBS and CNN currently right now. So I work at the White House. I also work on Capitol Hill quite often. I've been doing that for the past oh God, I don't know how long, 10 years?
10,
Yeah.
Been specifically at the White House the last 5 or 6. So yeah, it's good stuff. We love media. I actually, that's where we met, was at her job at Sirius XM Radio.
And you got serious and got her number?
Yes.
Okay.
See what you did there.
But yes, the world of media and social media, is all like intertwined into one.
Yeah.
And it's growing so much. So we're glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, with each other, because you can tie up each other's loose ends and kind of teach each other. Mine is primarily audio, audio production, mastering content, editing audio. Like I can edit audio very, very quickly, board opping, producing. His is primarily video. So we actually complement each other well. Like if we have projects that we're working on, we can work together. I'll handle the audio side, he handles the video, or we're teaching each other a little bit more about the other side.
That's for sure.
Help us to evolve and grow.
Oh, I love that. Okay, power couple here. Okay, so and I like what you said. You both are complimenting each other and or also learning from each other. So with this, okay, so you initially met, of course, at Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
Did you kind of think, okay, maybe we could have something that we could work together? I'm not talking on a romantic level.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
ironically, that was one of
level.
our first conversations, because I, have been out of school for a few years, and the thing about this industry is it's always changing. Like you could be out of school. We were just talking the other day about a camera he wanted, and a year passed, and now, good thing he didn't get that camera, because there's another better quality camera that they're shooting in. Yeah, it's obsolete. Like it's always ever evolving, and like even with us, as far as like, the audio world, just recording devices are getting more and more strong, what we have to use, and platforms now, especially in the podcast world, we're streaming through your phones, and now with smart speakers, we can be on your Alexa. So we need to make sure, that we're keeping up with the times. Like things are always ever evolving in this industry. But it's actually funny because when we first met, I was telling him, I was like, I haven't touched the camera. I haven't edited video in like 6 months. I feel like I'm rusty. I was thinking about taking some classes, and he's like, I could show you if you show me some tricks about like, how you can edit so quickly. Cause he watched me at the end of the show. I had like maybe like 40 minutes to turn something around. I was done with it in like 15 minutes, to kind of get it done. So he's like, how did you get it? So, so it's like, that was one of our first conversations. That's actually how we exchanged phone numbers, was just to kind of bounce ideas off of each other. And especially in this industry, for me as a woman, I'll come in, I'll be producing, and immediately people coming would think, I'm the assistant, I'm a secretary. There's no way I could be the intern, and no knocks against that if that's where you are. But as a producer, I've been working for years and just immediately get dismissed, or, I look younger than what I am. So, people, they kind of dismiss me in that way, so it's always important for me to kind of be like, this is who I am, even now I'm chief content officer. What you hear is me, and building that confidence in that. Yeah. And so kind of having someone like Michael, where we're able to kind of feed off of each other and push each other in the right way. Yeah. And to have a partner who understands what you're saying. When I'm like, hey, the mix went down, it crashed, and now, at 55 seconds, such and such happened. He knows exactly what I'm saying to him without me being like, okay, so this is the mix.
Right.
It works.
That would be me. Yeah. Explain it to.
And we even rely on each other. Like he'll be doing a shoot and I'll be there and I'll catch something that he might not necessarily see, and vice versa. I'll be like, Mike, I've been listening to this audio for the last like 40 minutes. It's not there yet, but I can't tell what it's listening because now I've listened to it too much. He'll listen to it with some fresh ears and give me, ideas. So it's good even for the creative level of our careers to have a partner like that's right there with you that you can trust, that's going to have your best intentions and help you kind of get to, where you need to be.
That's for sure.
Okay. All right. I'm working this thing. Okay. I see more people have joined in. Dr. McGee.
Welcome back.
Right. Demetra says here, #balance. Talking about what you just referring to what you just talked about. Vera Collins is on. Hey, Janetta, thank you for watching. There's a question on the floor here. the floor of the live feed.
The floor of live.
Yeah, there you go. Demetrius says, my question was asking them about the atmosphere differences in D.C. between the present and last administrations.
Ooh, that's a Michael question.
Oh, wow. Already.
I mean, I can answer as a native Washingtonian, but you can answer more personally as far as like the White House.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's quite interesting because, you know, I will say this, like, you know, what you see is what you get in a lot of ways. You know, working with the Obama administration and covering the Obama administration, you know, a lot of what you saw on TV was prettied up, and, you know, everyone always wants to put their best foot forward, no matter if it's a Republican or Democrat. But a lot of what you saw was authentic with them. And here, a lot of the mess you see now is honestly authentic as well. You know, it's night and day, quite honestly, the way things are run. I'll give you a quick example. We were used to, and when I say we as a press corps, used to daily briefings, or at least 3 to 4 times a week in the White House press briefing room. And, you know, the current administration basically became, you know, negligence was the new norm for them, where, you know, they really didn't have that. They would claim to have a great respect for freedom of the press, but, you know, they would, we'll get it to you when we get it to you. Right. You know, we'll share this information, that information when we do.
With only certain news outlets.
Too. Right, exactly. They won't only give certain news outlets that, you know, more aligned to their way of thinking. It will give them all the access, but, you know, someone like, for instance, NBC, they got that first exclusive interview with Trump when he, you know, the groundbreaking interview where he, you know, basically admitted about the whole Russia scandal, and that's what started the whole thing with Lester Holt. Since then, he I think it was almost 2 years since he sat down with him again. So, you know what I'm saying? Saying all that to say, you know, we're used to daily briefings there, and now it's become the new norm is to come out and basically the press will set up what are called like gaggles, almost like traps. And not in a bad way, but they'll have certain administration officials walking up and down the driveway at the White House, and you basically set a barricade of cameras in one side, and then you set up another one down the driveway on another side, and basically it's almost like a ping pong table. If they come down one way, okay, we're going to basically corner them here and ask them questions. If they go the other way, we're going to, you know, have them there and ask them questions there, because other than that, you're not getting any daily regular flow of information. So that's just on the White House side. That's not to mention the Pentagon. That's not talking about Capitol Hill with Congress. That's just the White House alone. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times now on the congressional side of things, you'll see something big, you know, breaking news. For instance, you know, he talked about, you know, African American, you know, women of color that are, you know, congresswomen, talked about them in, you know, some pretty, you know, disparaging ways recently. I was assigned to the Hill that morning that all that news came out, and it was literally dead silence from all congressional members, from their staffers. It's almost like everyone sits back and waits for the first one to kind of make a statement, or before they kind of test the waters and see what else. Well, in the past, you know, someone says something crazy, the immediate press releases out condemning whatever it was or whoever said it. The town's changed a lot. And sometimes it's hard because we're in the DC bubble. So sometimes it's hard to kind of gauge outside, like here and other cities, how people receive it or receptive to it.
And even in the most simplest form, it's just like, you know, Mike and I were dating at the end of Obama and into Trump. He, at the most simplest level, he's way more busier. You know, Obama wasn't doing nothing random at like 8 o'clock at night, you know, just kind of out there looking for a cheeseburger or something. Whereas, you know, Trump and his team, there's always something happening.
Or the potential of something. Yeah.
Now you have more press that are there 24 hours, you know, whereas that wasn't really, you might have some people lingering in case there were breaking news, but, you know, and President Obama's like, years, it really, like, how often did we have breaking news? Whereas with Trump, like the first 30 days, it was like every day something was breaking. Every day. He's more busier. Like, he's always up there. His shifts are longer, even at the most basic level, because he'll literally have a stakeout. He's just sitting in a car all day, just waiting for something to happen, because they'll have someone covering at the White House and someone on Capitol Hill, but that you need that just in case guy. Trump decides to run out his back door,
or decides to tweet something,
something random.
Everyone's standing by for tweets now.
Yeah,
isn't that something?
Think about that. That's how we get our news now. Twitter,
and that's really like some of the big change that I'm sure you guys are dealing with. Yep. I'm trying to word my mouth right now. That's a lot of the change that you see.
Yeah.
I think I can easily say it like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, a comment here. I was wondering if what we saw was truly that dysfunctional. Oh, if it was truly dysfunctional or staged. And she said, hashtag so sad.
No.
But yeah.
I wish it was staged.
Right. Because it sounds like, and from what we've seen, of course, the years that Obama was in was more quiet. Just like you say, it wasn't that much being done or said that the press had to really be, out there all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
A little more predictable, which again, in a lot of ways is good. I'll say it that way. You never want to know. I'll give one quick story. We're all sitting there. It was a late evening, and everything had kind of settled down. But again, you still had networks, all hands on deck, kind of ready, standing by. And out of nowhere, and you got to understand, like all presidents, not just Obama, all presidents, Bush, Clinton, they would occasionally come down to the briefing room to make statements, to talk, whatever it was, directly to the press in lieu of their press secretaries or whatever. Trump had, up to this point, Trump had never been in the briefing room like at all, not even after hours at night just to wander through, which, Michelle and other first ladies and just other people, administrations would do in the past. So long story short, we're all sitting there, not really thinking anything. And Trump opens the sliding door, pokes his head in the briefing room and says, "Big news about North Korea. Just you wait and see. It's coming up real soon. Some big news." And I remember it was like panic. It was like a beehive. Someone poked a beehive. Everyone started scrambling. Oh, what do we do? Where do we go? He just walked right back out. 5 seconds and walked right back out. A random, I don't even know who it was, a random guy from some foreign outlet started yelling at him, and he kind of scurried back in, got scared. But it just goes to kind of show you, like, you never know what's going to happen. Yeah. That could have, think about those few words, and that could have easily meant like there's a missile in the air, like
anything.
It could have meant anything.
We had no idea what that meant, but I'm saying all that to say, like, the predictability, and he's not very presidential at all.
Well, we knew that when he
we knew that kept coming in, but the ramifications of that are in a lot of ways, I would say, dangerous in some ways, because you never know what may be said or what may happen that another foreign country will take the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
It's definitely more tense down there. Like even just kind of being, in the general area, like down there, like as a Washingtonian, like the city is different. It's so different. Like, we used to hang out at Lafayette Park, which is like right outside of the White House. It just, you're always worried now about someone dropping something kind of outside of the White House, because that's happened more often than not lately. It's a lot of things that's actually not in the news about what's happening outside of the White House. We actually had a few scares ourselves as far as like Mike's safety, and it made us reevaluate like our strategy of, because if something ever happens, he's in one of the worst places he could be, because they don't care about the press down there. So it will be like a free for all. And so it made us even, I guess the bright side, reevaluate, our safety procedures as a family. Because it'll be days I'm picking him up from work and I'm just outside on one of the cross streets, and you'll sit there and it'll be quiet, and all of a sudden all the streets are shutting down, sirens are going off, cops are running up and down the street. It feels like a militarized zone sometimes. It's very scary. What you're seeing is scary, but some of what you're not seeing is actually a little more scarier.
With that in mind, does it seem like it's worth it to you, or was it before this administration?
Sorry.
What are your thoughts on it? Does it seem like
I don't know. It's definitely a heads or tails thing. It depends on what day you ask me, quite honestly. I will say this, like, if you go and ask other veterans that have been there covering DC politics and DC news, much longer than I have, like some of the 15, 20-year veterans, they'll say like the news cycle has not been this crazy busy since the Clinton Lewinsky scandal days back in the late 90s. And if you know anything about that, the news media industry in general made a ton of money during those days. That was right when the 24-hour news outlets were really starting to come, into their own, and they finally had like a salacious story to talk about. And some of the, good ramifications were like you had camera guys and producers and, anchors that really made names for those back then, as well as made a lot of money. That they would tell me stories all the time of, I paid off my house,
right?
I bought a new boat, I paid off my kids'
so much overtime
just by the overtime I was making, sitting there waiting for Hillary Clinton to come out of her home, because at that time she wasn't living at the White House. Waiting for the Lewinsky lawyers to come out. They had crews at each of the major players' homes, just sitting there. So I'm saying all that to say, you haven't seen that amount of money, that amount of advertising dollars, that amount of breaking news coverage on one particular story until now. You have an administration where his major cabinet members are leaving like once or twice a month. His closest friends and confidants are on trial or going to jail on a regular basis.
It's so much to cover.
There's a lot of, I tell people all the time, I joke about this, the crazier he gets, the richer I get. So,
right, exactly.
So it is a give and take, but I'll be honest, I'm glad I've been away from that stuff for about a week, and
that's a huge
I'm not
part
missing
of
it right
now.
now.
It's removing yourself from it.
Yeah, she gets on me all the time about energy, because you come home after a long day and you hear all the craziness coming out of the administration, and you're like, oh my God, it kind of wears on you.
It's not just him, like his staff is
they're not
as
nice.
Bananas as he is. So
they're
it's just
nice.
It's the people that he's directly interacting with. It's been a complete shift. What people don't understand is like when President Obama left, everybody down to like the maids were pushed out. Like the guy who plants the tulips in the yard, like he's gone. Like everybody, like he cleaned house. Like he didn't do what. Yeah. Mike knew the gardener. They gave him tulips because he got let go. Like everyone. So when he's bringing all his people down to the guy handing you napkins in the bathroom, like the energy is just so foul in there. And I tell him, like, you gotta protect yourself. You gotta armor yourself. You can't just go in there, not shielded. Like we pray for Mike and ourselves, but we pray over this all the time when he leaves and when he comes back home, because we don't want that in our house.
Right.
Trump is
that's
awful.
deep.
Like,
he has some power words. Bring some power.
Right.
Power words with
Bring them with you.
That's true.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Okay, there are other questions. Let's see here. Let me go back down. Question for Adele. I'm sorry. There were some comments. Let me read the other comments. There appeared to be more structure and organization under the previous administration. I agree. It is hard having a schizophrenic president. Hashtag prayers for your safety.
Thank you. Received.
Right, definitely. Okay, so here's the question. What are some preparation suggestions you can provide someone who is interested in doing a podcast? That's an excellent question.
Ooh. That is a really good question. Well, for one, I would say, make sure that your message is clear. Like, what is the purpose of this podcast? Who is your audience? And why? Because even you can attest to, it's not as simple as just sitting in front of a microphone and talking to yourself. It's a lot. It's a lot to it, especially if you want to expand and you want to get advertisement and you want to be on a major platform and evolve. It's a lot of work. But if you don't have a clear understanding of what exactly your purpose is, like what is your message, what is your topics, what type of guests, I would make a list, like a wish list. Okay, this is am I doing it seasonally? Because we do that. We have some shows that only go 10 episodes a season. A season is every quarter, because just content wise, we're gathering content and then we're posting. We have some that are live every week, so what kind of podcast do you want? Because both of them is the beauty of the beast. If you're doing one where you're building content, you have to go and build a lot of content. You got to meet people. I would encourage you to get some good quality recorders. Go out and grab audio. Then you have to get an editor if you're not good at that, and piece that, build that out. Or learn. There's a lot of stuff online where you can teach yourself about software and stuff. Or if you want to do something that is as you're going along, you in a studio, now they have USB mics, you can plug right into your computer, you can do it from your home. Just like, what type of podcast at every level do you want to do? Who is your target audience? What is your logo? Figure out your logo and your brand. That's behind us. I'm sorry. That's behind us. What do you want it to look like? What do you want it to be? And who is your audience? So what I would do is first make that wish list, of who is your target. What is your, if you're doing a seasonally, what is your season 1? What are your topics? Are you going to have a guest? What is your dream team list of guests? Talk to people. One of the key things I say is every contact is a connection. This person that I'm talking to today might not be the person that I need today, but I might need them tomorrow. Or they might know someone who knows someone that can help me along my way. Yeah. So don't be afraid to talk to people and go to media events. There are podcast festivals everywhere all the time. There was one last week in DC. I'm going to one in Florida in 2 weeks. There's always, look up podcast events in your local and go. Talk to people, find people in your industry. It's actually, people are really friendly. Everyone wants to be on everyone's show. So, get to know people, talk to them, build that out, listen to podcasts, because if you don't really understand podcasting, the best way to do that is to listen. One of my biggest challenges was adjusting from radio to podcasting, because when radio is strict, you got to hit your clock, you got to get your time out. By now we would have took 2 breaks if this was radio, right? Straight. Right. Sirius XM. Whereas podcasting, it's like you can talk as long as you want to talk, but is what you're going to be saying powerful enough to keep the listener in? Because we as people, the first 3 minutes, if it's not hitting, we're out. Like we're not listening. Mm-hmm. And it's not saying you have to be controversial, but just what are you going to do, to keep your brand? Are you going to have music? Just listen to it, make a list of the type of things. Don't be afraid to network. Go to PodFest and podcasting events. Build your brand, get to know people.
And what would you say to people who, since we're asking the expert, what would you say to people?
Not, they are, but sure.
What would you say as far as like free resources? Because I know there are a lot of libraries that kind of have like small studio setups. If you wanted to start, like, some people will kind of look at a price tag of a microphone or a price tag of some software.
I mean, and be like, I hate to kind of say it like this, but you have to be willing to invest. Like, that's the only way. Like, you start off small, like when I first started doing a podcast that I used to do, which I'm actually rebuilding it, I didn't have a microphone. I had a recorder. I had a good quality. My recorder cost me $30. Okay. And it was good. It was actually a really good quality recorder. And I would just go around and talk to people and build it out there. And then next in my talking to people, I met someone who knew how to do, music. So they created my song, and I helped them out by helping them build their content. So every contact is a connection. You can build up to those things, but you have to be willing to invest. Like, you just kind of have to. Mm-hmm. But there are online a lot of good resources for like shared space. Now they do have shared office spaces now. Mm-hmm. There are shared podcast studio. A group of people can go in on a studio. I'm not familiar with any names right now. I'm kind of drawing a blank. But there are shared spaces where you can kind of go in and rent a studio space together. And do your recording that way. It's so many, the power of the internet is so many resources out there.
Very true.
That can help you. Even like now, like I always say, you want to have a side hustle for your side hustle. So beyond me doing content for the company I'm working for, I actually edit for 2 other people's podcasts. They don't know how to do it. They pay me a stipend. I edit their shows, get it turned back around to them. Just reach out, Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay. I'm learning some things today too. Gwendolyn says, excellent advice. I wonder who that is. Someone did a hashtag, every contact is a connection. Awesome way to view things. And I agree. I've always said networking is key, but I like what you said.
Yes.
I definitely like that.
And if anyone has, further questions or, I definitely could share my email with them.
Okay.
On your post.
Your auntie is going to contact you. Me. No. Another question on the live feed floor. What is the process on possible syndication?
A lot. Oh, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot. I mean, I guess I would have to just kind of know a little bit more about what they're trying to do. You know, definitely shoot me an email. But a lot of it's the same. Like your brand, always start off with what's your brand, like, because you have to. Like I went to Black Enterprise this year and they were all like, a lot of people were together. A lot of people just did not have a clue, but it was good because the key thing was understanding your brand. If you can't explain to me what you're here for or what you're trying to do, how can I help you? You know, it was a lot of people was like, I want to do podcasting. I'm like, okay, great. What are you talking about? What's next? Well, I mean, I kind of want to talk about kids, but I also want to talk about adults, but I also want to talk about, you know, you got to fine tune your message, you know, and network. As far as syndication, a lot of these companies now look at your numbers. So you have to rely a lot on not just like social media, but building your brand and getting a huge followership. Even now, it's a little bit easier to get your podcast like on iTunes than what it was, because you just have to do this like huge formal sorry, it's your watch. You got to do a huge formal like process. You still do, but I would say like, you know, partner with companies, you know, that post for you, that get your items up. You watch this all over the place. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Do things that kind of get you connected to those big podcast companies. Like we're hosting, so we're producing, we're a one-stop shop, but we're not just because my boss will be watching, like we're not just podcasting, we do video as well. Like what sets you out, because nowadays a lot of people will do short form video. So we're a media company. We have the visual aesthetic, we have a podcast. The podcast content is a little bit longer than what you might get from the video, or the video may give you a bonus feature. Like you, in a world of, you know, things ever evolving, you have to find out what your niche is and be unique in that. And a lot of times to get picked up and build momentum, to get on a bigger platform, you have to have a name, you know, for yourself. You have to have a big following, you know, because that's the first thing they look at now. A lot of companies will look at, okay, how many downloads is she getting a week? How many subscribers does she have? How many subscribers does she lose on a monthly basis? And there are companies where people that does hosting for your podcast, like Megaphone, Acast, Art19, a few other companies that can give you those stats, so you can see how you're growing, because that's important. You have to watch your feed to see how you're evolving outward, because the first thing you do when you are going to a big broadcast company or someone, you're like, I want to show, or I want to be bigger. Can I see your numbers? Like, where are your receipts? Show me your proof of performance.
Right.
Before you can ask for anything, you have to have a proof of performance.
Okay.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, that does. wait. I'm sorry. The person that asked the question, I was saying it helped me. Did it help you, D? I know you asked that question about the syndication.
Proof of performance is key. Even us as a company, like we have to sometimes, if we're trying to expand more and, you know, take on another show, and we might be recruiting one person, like, hey, we really want you to be on our platform. You might be like, okay, I need a proof of performance. Like, how do we do with our other shows? Like, why should we recruit you? You know, why should you join our team? We have to show you, we have to prove to you that, you know, we're viable, that we're investing in our product, and we're turning around great content, and that we're growing in numbers. We started off with someone who had no platform at all, and we're able to snowball her out to here. And that's what we're still even evolving in that ourselves.
Okay. You've taken me somewhere, and we're going to talk later. I just want you to know. There was a comment on here. I need Adele to manage a podcast for me. That's Gwendolyn.
I got you.
All right. Another question. And when providing these services, are they priced as a package or by service?
Depends on, like, me providing, or it depends on who you go to. Like with what we do, it depends on what you need. Like it depends on your ask. I need a little more information. Like, are you saying, like, you know, it just depends on how deep of what you need. Like what we're doing as far as, like, you know, the side job we do as far as producing people's content. Currently, they do the interviews, but they just kind of all over the place, and we build it out. You know, like we put it in order, we add the music. A lot of podcasting now does soundscaping. Soundscaping is like, you know, the background noise, like, you know, Michael opened the door. We add those effects, you know, to it, just to kind of keep the listener involved, you know. And sometimes you could go a little crazy with soundscaping. It's a fair middle. So I guess it just kind of means like who, as far as like the extent of what you need. Some companies do it all for one price. And then some companies, if you're good at like know your strength, honestly, the only best person that knows your voice is you. If you're able to get your interviews and book, you don't like need a talent booker, and you don't need no one to kind of really guide you on how to do the interviews. If you literally just need someone to give you music and someone to piece it together, you're saving money. So it just depends on what you need.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so with this side job that you guys have, it's not like you're going to take advantage of people. You can kind of tell them, you know, what resources or whatever, and just kind of help. And that's actually excellent, because some people would just take advantage of. Okay, right. You know, you want to do this, and this.
Right. And honestly, I believe in energy, and I can't help my personal beyond my career. You know, with this company, what we're trying to do, us evolving, we can't be out here doing negative things, because that's just going to come right back to us, and we don't need that on what we're trying to do to evolve out. We're going to be honest, because there's some people who don't want to pay anything, but that want everything in return. Now, we're not going to do that, you know, per se, but you know, we're honest if it, you know, as far as like what we're able to do, what we're not able to do, and just kind of evolve from there.
Okay. No, she doesn't like to talk. She doesn't. Ida Gill is on. Thanks for watching. Hey, Granny D, we appreciate you. Let's see here. I see your comment, D. I'm trying to figure out if I want to read it or not. Oh. I always tease Annette about her speaking voice and think she and Gwen have awesome voiceover voices.
They do.
How sweet. Well, thank you. I'll pay you later. No, but seriously, now this is some very, very good information that you're giving out on today, and I appreciate it. I myself appreciate it. Hopefully, if you guys are interested, there was something I was going to ask you to see how to word this. Now, in terms of individual trying to establish maybe a radio show, I mean, I guess it can kind of go into the same thing, maybe with the podcast. I know they're two different things.
Yeah.
Now you all could help an individual kind of like get a radio show together, and maybe, I mean,
yeah, I mean, like if they're just trying to, it's called a reel. If they're just trying to get on a local station, I'm not familiar with Chicago stations, so if they're just like, hey, I want to be on V110 Chicago, sorry, I just made that up. A lot of times they'll ask for a trailer or a reel. Again, proof of performance. You know, you have to have something. We've had people who didn't even have shows, but, you know, have a history of doing interviews, but want to pitch to a show. A reel is a short audio clip, kind of giving samples like with montage of, you know, your experience as a host. Personally, and I guess Mike can agree or disagree, I personally think that a audio reel is more challenging than a visual one, because at least visually you could just kind of flash, color, pop. Whereas with sound, that's all you have. So, you know,
it probably is more difficult, but you make it look easy when you're like working.
It's a challenge, and you have to be able to kind of sprinkle this here, sprinkle that there, and, you know, build that. And, you know, a lot of stations just want it in 30 seconds.
Right.
And that's very short. You could do a lot in 30 seconds, but it's short. You know, you got to kind of pick and choose where you want to kind of drop things in. So you have to start there. You have to start with the write-up, not too much of that overdone. You know, what's your long-term, the next 2 years, how many listeners do you project that you're having based on what? And then you have to then turn around and present audio, and if they want more, great, you know, have interviews in the can where you kind of already done those things. Interview your friends. I used to do that all the time. Like, interview your friends, you know, but don't interview them as they're your friends, just, you know, to get practice, and be open. This is my biggest thing I struggle with. Be open to criticism, like receive it. It's not going to always be like, I'm not malicious. There are some malicious people, but the biggest thing about radio is you don't hear yourself when you're talking, you hear yourself after. So naturally, I have a very mellow voice, right? So I'll be excited about something, but I still sound mellow, and as some people say, maybe a little disinterested, but I'm not. That's just my voice. But I have to listen to myself. I have to receive that from someone telling me that to know how to kind of push myself differently.
I see what you're saying. Right.
When I speak, I can't be a radio host like, hey, welcome to blah, blah, blah. No one's going to listen. Like, I don't even want to hear. And we have people who will be like that, and they don't want to take it in. Like, they don't want to receive it, or, or as far as us editing stuff, we've had hosts who will overtalk the guests the second they ask them something like, so tell me a little bit about your business. Well, oh yeah, I do that too. You're like, okay, so why are we here? Are we here to hear about you? We know you. You're the host. Like, that's every time I launch a show. For me, when I start a show with us or even just myself, I'll do like an episode completely to telling you who I am, why. It doesn't have to be long. So that's out of the way. So come episode 2, you don't need to know my whole backstory. I might give you, a little synopsis of why the show is called what it is and why we're here, but I'm not going to, I might be relatable to something with me, but I'm not going to keep over talking you. Right. And be mindful of that, because especially if you want someone to build an audio trailer, it's very hard to build something where you're always interjecting over top of the guest. I can't get a clean cut because it's a continuous stream of speaking. And then it just kind of sounds like I cut you off, or it's choppy. Just kind of be mindful of pausing and giving, the guest a chance to speak, or just letting a natural pause happen before you ask another question, like you did.
I think that my producer, and I'm going to put him out on here on Front Street, is probably over there tapping his toes right now, because this is exactly what he says all the time.
Yeah.
This is what he talks about all the time. Host, when I first came over here to Intellectual, because I had already had my show for a couple of years before coming. I first come over here to Intellectual Radio, and he's like, the host, do not overtalk your guests. Allow them to talk. If they're talking and they're saying something, do not interrupt.
Yeah.
He said, that's why you see me, I'm just shaking my head.
Yeah.
I'm learning from Earl Winfrey.
Yeah. Because you have to ask yourself, why are we here? If we're here to hear from your guests, let us hear from your guests.
That's right.
And it benefits you in the long run, because we can use this as promotional material. We can always get your voice. If I have an interview with someone, Mike DuBose is only here for 2 days and he talked for half an hour, we can always come back to the studio and re-record you, because you're here. We can add you in and, do what we call interstitials, which are connecting pieces of audio from you, and produce a big piece, for promotional purposes. But the guests, we got to give them room to breathe, and if we don't, why do we have the guests in the first place? And there's some people podcasts who don't talk to people. They just talk to themselves, and for some people it works. They play audio clips, and for some it doesn't.
Yeah. Okay. This is exciting. I hope you guys are enjoying this today. Elder McGee says he's back. Let's see. I guess you went away when your wife left. Robin, I see you on. Thanks for watching. Let's see. Right, the same old school term. Oh, she's responding to Gwen. We won't read that. Dr. McGee says, I hear that a lot. Although I'm an excitable person, people tend to think I'm not showing excitement.
Right.
We can
relate.
See? Okay.
And it's so hard when you're doing voiceover, because you just think you're so animated and you hear it back and you just sound like the Clear Eyes guy. Like, Clear Eyes is awesome. It just sounds like him.
Monotone, right?
Yeah. It's just like, I really tried.
Oh, wow.
But a trick to that is to smile, like laugh before you speak and smile. Even if it feels super corny, like have a conversation with your producer, laugh, and then go into the read. You'll sound a little more animated.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Give me some tips.
Michael, you want to add anything to all of this?
I'm just learning from the expert today.
He's learning from the expert today. Happy wife, happy life.
Oh,
no,
boy.
this is great. I kind of what I want to do actually is right now I have a spoken word. The Elder McGee pinned for this portion of today's broadcast. I want you guys to hear that before we come back, and then I kind of maybe want to wrap up with you all telling me your goals and what you see or what you want to see to come out of this beautiful union.
We'll start with Mike when we come back.
Oh yeah, we can do that. I want you guys to take a listen to this spoken word by Elder Kevin McGee. We'll be right back.
We once were two, but now we are one, united on the journey that will allow us to continue our dreams, using the gifts that have made room for us, bringing us before great men. You see, the journey was fulfilling even when we were on our own, but now the journey has allowed us to become complete, allowed us to become whole, because we are now one, moving in God's time, moving in His purpose, allowing Him to shine through us in every accomplishment, every victory. We are one because God's agenda has decreed to destiny that this is where we are supposed to be. And so we shall move forward hand in hand, heart to heart, soul to soul, always moving in syncopation to the beats of our hearts, because we move in the favor of God.
All right, Elder McGee, you did it again. Mm-hmm. You did it again.
Wow.
That was beautiful. Beautiful.
And that was the one who said his voice is monotone? Was that him? Or you didn't say somebody said that his wife? Oh, it was his wife? Oh, okay. So.
No, yeah, his wife said that her voice, people tell her voice.
Yeah, it's fine. I was like,
no, that was good. That was on point. I'll give you some snaps.
I
can't snap with my right hand. I can only snap with my left.
See there? Oh my goodness. No, that was great. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you,
sir. I'm sure that'll be inspirational for them.
Yeah.
Oh,
but yeah,
sure.
I've been calling you power couple, and I totally agree. Hey, Lily Neighbors, I thank you for watching. Thanks for coming on. Let's see. Dimitri and I were saying the real Adele is referring to is called a demo. Oh, okay.
Look at Auntie.
I got you. Deborah Jones Riddle, thanks for watching. We appreciate you also. Elder McGee says he's waiting for his check. Continue waiting, Elder. Continue waiting. Your reward is in heaven. It's on high. Okay. Anyway, no, but thank you for that. That was beautiful.
Yes,
that was
thank
beautiful.
You.
What are your thoughts on that before we go into the other question I asked you? What are your thoughts on the spoken word and, how you guys met? You dated, now you're married, and you're basically in this journey together.
Right.
You're in the media industry journey together, complimenting one another, as you talked before. How do you see that spoken word in relation to?
It was right on point, I would say, because, he mentioned, the journey was fulfilling separately. Like, we do have our own accomplishments. Adele's always very modest when she talks about a lot of her awards and accolades and accomplishments. So, like, she's literally an award-winning, like, producer of the year, a nationally acclaimed award in radio. So, like, she has her own stuff. I have my own stuff, like, coming into this union, but like us together, it's been amazing. I couldn't have scripted that any better.
Aww.
And we're still on the journey. So
yeah,
what he said was definitely on point.
Okay. Adele, thoughts?
I agree.
Okay. Yes, please tell the award she won, the recent award she won.
She was go ahead.
She asked you.
Because I don't want to get it wrong. So the Women in Film and Media organization, they have their annual Gracie Awards. So Adele won Radio Producer of the Year for that.
Thank you.
Yes.
For a lot of her, she was nominated for a lot of her work with the
radio doc. I did a audio doc called Foot Soldiers, which covered I was always interested in, we always see Dr. King, no knock against him or any of our civil rights leaders, but we always see him and just a crowd of people behind him, and I was interested in finding out who that crowd of people were behind him. So we went to Selma and found people who were called Foot Soldiers that marched across the Edmund Pettus Bridge with Dr. King the first time when there were riots and everything, and we met and talked with them about their journey, because they have a story as well. And so we did we hit a lot of spots in hot Alabama, so hot, and we were able to get a lot of good content. Ended up winning a NAB award for that as well, which is the National Association of Black Journalists, as well as the Gracie. Well,
yeah,
thank you.
Yay.
She's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's wonderful. I love this. Let's see. I'm familiar with that documentary, Demetria Brain Triplet says.
Yes.
All
okay.
right. Wonderful.
Thank you.
She would be the one to be
right.
familiar with it. She looks up a lot of stuff.
I love it.
Ronald Evans, thank you so much for watching. Gwen says, we are proud of you. Yes, we are proud of you. Oh, she's doing a cheer. But yeah.
I can hear you. I can hear it in my head. I can hear her yay.
Oh, gosh. Okay, Lily Neighbor says congratulations.
Thank you.
And Dr. McGee says, wow, that is wonderful. Yeah, this is some awesome stuff. I'm actually so glad you guys are here. I'm doing good with not crying and anything.
Right, I'm proud of you.
Thank you. So proud of me, right? All right. But where do you see the new DeBoses going? Where do you see this power couple taking your family? And as I'm saying that, I'm going to ask little one to come over this way. I want her to come stand right here. Come over here with Auntie.
Come over here.
Where do you see yourselves in the next 5 to 10 years? You talked about this other business that you all are developing, and what do you see happening for you all?
We have a lot of plans. Some of them formulated, others still in development. But we definitely want to. We believe we have a niche and a definite like brand in the marketplace that we want to kind of target. That's for sure. So whether it's consulting, our own media production company, we're really looking to try and create and affect change in our area, and put our forces together to be able to kind of cater to the world. It was one of my personal goals, and I know Adele has similar goals as well. I said I always wanted to look up one day and see my name, in credits. And that feeling, I'm now that I'm like kind of like with her, I want to kind of multiply that so we can actually see our company name, our heritage, what I'm saying, our namesake, not just in credits, but affecting change in events, and not just TV or radio, but some serious change, whether that be political or otherwise. We're really looking to make big moves.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful. Athena, I brought you over here because I want you to say something in the mic. Can you say hello to my listeners?
Say hi, listeners.
Hi, listeners.
This is their beautiful daughter, Athena, and she's here. I didn't want to not acknowledge the little lady. This is their family. The Lord has blessed them, and I'm looking for great things to come out of it. She's very smart, very intelligent. Who knows? I don't know what she would. Do you know what you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be a dentist.
A dentist.
She wants to be a dentist. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, great.
I know math, like 10 plus 10 equals 20.
Yep.
That's awesome. And you're going to need to know math because of all the money that you're going to make, right?
You know what? When I say Jesus, I don't know how I say Jesus. Jesus.
Well, she's preaching here today too. Yeah. Well, Athena, thank you so much. But you guys, thank you so much for joining me on today.
Glad to be here.
And I love that goal that you have. Yes. You guys work towards it. Be one. Continue to be one as God has blessed you.
Yes.
And you became one June 1st of this year. Beautiful wedding. They had an awesome wedding at the Washington National Cathedral.
Yes.
And not many people have ceremonies there. What did I say? Should I say local people?
Yeah.
Common people. But they were blessed to have their ceremony there. And if I can say this, they were actually the first couple to jump the broom at that facility.
Yes.
And I am so glad that I was able to be a part of it. And the rest of the family as well. So thank you all so much. It was beautiful. Demetria said that's our little songbird talking about Athena. Yes, that is definitely. Kathy Clark Petway, thanks for watching on today. We appreciate you guys for joining us on today, and your comments, your questions. Thank you so much for that, Auntie.
Yes, they were great.
I think we all learned a great deal. I know I did.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be talking with them further. But I see so much great potential. I really do. And God has tremendously blessed you all you know, and I just want to see it cultivated and continue on.
That's for sure. And even like with Athena, you know, I work remotely, so I'm all over the place, and just kind of try to balance that time with her. She takes interest in what we're doing, so that makes me so happy. Like, she'll hear me doing voiceover. She'll come in and do voiceover. She'll ask what we're doing. I showed her how to, you know, make some edits. Like, she loves cameras. Loves cameras. She's been staring at herself for the last hour. So we feel like, you know, the dentist. She might be a dentist on TV or something.
There you go.
Yeah. She's going to be somewhere where there's media, definitely.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Definitely. Any wrap-ups for today?
Just thank you again for having us on. Like, this is definitely a first in our family, you know, someone like going out there in the broad arena. And so we always like appreciate and admire you for doing what you're doing.
I love your show. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, thank
we're always here to support.
On a regular.
I'll tell you the history of that as we're exiting on today. There was one day I got a text message or something, and my nephew Michael, unbeknownst to Adele, was recording her, and she was just singing theme song. They were walking somewhere, and she's just singing, "Get caught in the net." I was like, "Oh wow, she really likes my jingle."
It's great.
Thank you.
See, it sticks. See, your branding.
There it is. And a huge shout out to Kamidris Hunt. She is the writer and the psalmist behind that. She sings that song. She wrote it. I just told her I needed the jingle, and she put it together. So
awesome.
I appreciate that. So I am going to get. Oh, Gwen says she loves it too. Thank you, sister. I appreciate you. Demetra says Dr. McGee gave me a lot to think about, and I appreciate them for answering my questions.
No problem.
You all.
Yes.
So, all right, this has been a great session. I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate Earl for this time here at Intellectual Radio. I appreciate you, my listeners, and those who have been watching us on today on the Facebook Live feed, YouTube, and then on the station's website. We're going to have another session this week, Mind, Body, and Soul, Friday at 1 p.m. It'll be a special session with Malcolm Brown. So make sure you guys join us on this Friday to highlight another millennial. He's written a book, a motivational speaker, a nice young man. And I'm going to push my millennials. I'm going to push them. I love it. I love when they're out there doing something positive. And then next week, we have our chef. Our chef is coming in next week, next Wednesday at 12 o'clock. And along with that, I have 3 other guests who are going to come in. I'm going to have a live studio audience. So you guys want to come in and taste test. You have to inbox me. Let me know you're going to come. Okay. All right. So we're going to get out of here. You listen to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette right here on Intellectual Radio. Get caught in the net.
Get caught in the net with Annette. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in the net with Annette. It's your Intellectual Radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in